You seem to be making a case that for the value of your department, the work you do, and you mentioned in your story in the newspapers today that there was a movement a few years ago to cut your department. Do you think do you feel that you're under the gun now? Do you think people are looking at you as a possible place to cut? Is that why you're making this case?
No, I'm making the case because I think the public, in this current day and age of economic turmoil, wants to know what they're getting for their money. And the annual report this year is used to showcase the kind of work and contribution that our office makes for taxpayers.
Can you investigate eHealth or no?
eHealth is a government agency which is within our jurisdiction. Right now, though, with the Auditor General involved and other inquiries, investigations happening, we are taking a wait-and-see approach and see what his capable office is going to do with their investigation.
You mentioned that you met regularly with corrections officials. What evidence, if any, have you seen of the impact of the mass sick offs that the guards are taking?
The vast majority of complaints we get from the prisoners' population is not issues which go to the root of human rights. They're issues that are rather mundane. We have 3 staff members that track issues involving health and welfare of prisoners, and those people, when the problems emerge, deal with correctional facility directly. So to answer your question, I have not seen any internal trends that I can trace directly to that particular issue.
Can you talk a little bit more about the Family Responsibility Office? You mentioned 3, I guess, positive case studies, but I mean, can you say, how big is the problem and has it been solved past these 3 cases?
The Family Responsibility Office is a work in progress. It's a constant challenge for our office. It has been so for many years now. The difference that I see now with the FRO is that they're more willing to acknowledge that there's a problem and want to resolve it. So it's still a place which is infested with all kinds of problems. For example, issuing a writ on a wrong property and not a timely fashion with the wrong name, those kinds of things. But they've been quicker to acknowledge the problems and deal with them. So we meet with the FRO every 2 weeks to work with the complaints that we receive and try to move them forward. And so it's a cooperative relationship, but it is a work in progress.
How much money is owed out now? Do you know? I think in December it was $1.5 billion that was owed in payments still.
I'd have to look up that exact number. Don't know off the top of my head.
You'd say you take a wait-and-see approach with the Auditor General on eHealth. Like, what sort of things would you be waiting to see, and what sort of action would you take or might take? Can you expand on that? What would you do if you didn't like what you saw?
No, I think in view of the fact that the Auditor General has undertaken an audit, there is such a thing as overkill, and I think right now his office is obviously very capable of doing their work, and I don't think that there's any business right now in view of the Auditor General's work right now in this area. There's no business for my office.
Do you see anything in the broader issue of across government of consultants and or untendered contracts that is there room for you in any of those areas?
Absolutely there is, but there's nothing that's been brought to my attention right now that would allow me to comment on that issue.
Do you think people with parents in long-term care homes, based on what you've seen or what you've heard, should rest easy at night, or do you think that there's evidence that they're not being properly looked after?
It's a difficult area to assess, because as long as we don't have the ability to probe the service delivery in long-term care, we're not able to pass judgment in a fair fashion. So because we're kept out of it, I can't tell you, and I can't give you the answer today, which will be backed up by hard data. But what I can tell you is that we receive a fair bit of complaints concerning this area. So there's a lot of smoke, but whether there's actually a fire there, until we're able to take a crack at it, I can't tell you.
Pourquoi est-ce plus important que jamais d'avoir le pouvoir d'enquêter dans les hôpitaux, dans les services de sociétés d'aide à l'enfance. Le nombre de plaintes est en hausse. Pourquoi vous refaites encore cette demande au gouvernement cette année?
C'est parce que c'est un domaine qui absorbe des ressources énormes de la province. C'est un domaine qui livre un service directement au public. Et puis c'est un domaine où il y a un manque de surveillance. Et chaque année, nous recevons des centaines de plaintes qui relèvent du domaine des municipalités, des hôpitaux, de l'aide à l'enfance. Et nous ne pouvons pas aider les citoyens qui se plaignent. Donc et on se retrouve encore une fois à être la dernière province de toutes les provinces qui n'offre pas une surveillance dans ces domaines-là. Donc, c'est un domaine qui est très important. Et puis, chaque année, il ne faut pas oublier qu'il faut encore sonder la cloche pour rappeler au gouvernement qu'il faut agir dans ce domaine-là.
Quand vous demandez au gouvernement d'égalité de moderniser votre mandat à ce sujet-là, qu'est-ce qu'on vous répond pour vous dire non?
Bien souvent, on croit que, écoutez, ça va faire un autre niveau de bureaucratie, on va étendre plus de fonctionnaires, le problème est assez étudié. C'est la réponse qu'on a. Et puis, je ne pense pas que c'est une réponse qui est satisfaisante.
Auriez-vous besoin de plus de ressources, évidemment, s'ils vont vous donner ce
Il n'y a
pouvoir?
pas de doute qu'il y aurait besoin d'avoir plus de ressources, mais notre budget total en ce moment est 9,6 millions pour surveiller 400 différents organismes gouvernementaux. Donc, ce n'est pas une somme qui est très élevée pour commencer.